One.
Hey guys, it's
Pursuing Bunnies.
and we're back with Date Warp, and we have hit Linds's route, which is what we were aiming for, so that's good.
Yay. Alright, so let's just jump into this because I'm really intrigued about what's going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Not because I trust him, certainly not. Not even because he's cute, although he is, and I've always liked the look of boys with glasses. But I think he and I might understand each other. The school I went to was a good school. Every student was expected to graduate on time, proceed to university. Truly failing would be scandalous. So I don't think any of my fellow pupils were stupid. But despite that, I stuck out. I liked studying too much, and I wasn't good at being social. Teacher's pet, smarty pants, bookworm, outcast. By the time we were in high school, nobody pulled my ponytail or tried to shove me down the stairs anymore.
Oh my gosh, that's
This
awful.
poor girl was bullied.
Yeah, that's awful.
Jeez. Many of the girls even apologized for how badly they'd treated me when we were kids, and I forgave them, but I still kept my distance. Which meant they got the last laugh after all. After I arrived at university, I tried to make up for my mistakes and fit in no matter what it took, even if that meant a date with a guy I didn't know and didn't want just because everyone else was doing it.
Which is how you got here. Congrats.
Yeah. That's also how you get
In big trouble.
in big trouble.
I mean, not that you aren't in big trouble right now, but
That's how you get into like real life trouble.
yeah, trouble that could really happen to you.
Yeah.
Ladies, be careful.
Like, I don't care how many girls he's dated. Actually, more girls. Probably worse. Anyway. Well, that wasn't the only reason. I was lonely, and I knew Bradley wouldn't turn me down or laugh at me. He was using me, but I was using him too. If I could get the hang of dating, then maybe when I found the right guy, I could manage to not make a fool of myself. Well, are we going
Once
to
again,
test that theory?
Oh my gosh.
Being myself was a failure. I wanted to be normal, successful, and happy. Linds is obviously a very smart guy. I don't know if he's smarter than me because we haven't studied the same thing, so there's nothing to compare. I respect his intelligence, of course. When I watch him, I get the feeling that here is a man who doesn't care what anyone else thinks of him. Nathaniel's polite. Albin postures. Raphael tries to please. Lynn says what he thinks and what he feels like. Of course, what he thinks and feels is often something perverted.
Yeah, well, assuming that's like really how he is, because he could be saying that just to throw you off.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure that in order to say those things, he'd have to be a huge pervert to come up with it, but still. That may not be like his true self. Air quotes.
Air quotes, yeah. He might not necessarily be like
Oh, we will find out.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be loved, don't they? I've never been in love. I've never been kissed, unless you count the time when I was 4. No.
Not really.
If I wanted someone to experiment with, Linds would be a much better choice than Bradley. I'd probably jump at the chance. Is that what I want? I admire him. He's cute and clever. He plays silly games with languages that amuse me. But he teases me constantly and makes me feel like an awkward, silly little girl. I'm sure he's had tons of girlfriends, or maybe boyfriends, or both. Because, yeah, we know that part.
Yeah.
We might get more information.
Yeah.
This time around. We'll see when he gets to the game. He could even be married. He's much older than I am.
Doubtful.
Yeah. Of course, this is another universe. Anything that happens here won't count when I get home. It's the perfect setup. Okay. If you say so.
I think basically what she means is that nobody will know.
That's true. Nobody will know.
It's kind of like that. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas
kind of thing. What happens in Atlanta stays in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's so much I could learn from him if he'll let me.
I'm not sure you want to know what he's going to teach you.
As long as I don't get emotionally involved.
The probability of that is so low because you have gotten emotionally involved with every other character.
Yeah. I find Linds and Bradley in the library trading notes.
We don't have moon bases. What power sources do you use? Mostly oil and gas, maybe coal, a little bit of nuclear and wind power. Nuclear fusion or nuclear fission. Where does the fuel come from? I have no idea.
Fission, but I don't know where they mine the uranium from. I see him frown and draw a large X on the paper where he's taking notes.
And the oil? That comes from the Middle East, pretty much.
There's also solar power.
Photovoltaic cells. What do you make them out of?
I don't know. They're black? That doesn't help, Janet.
Yeah, like lots of things. Lots of things are that way.
He shakes his head, which makes my cheeks burn. It's not my fault I don't know how to build a solar cell. I'm only in freshman chemistry.
What about medical science? Your culture, do you know how to restore brain function? I don't think so.
But now I see where his angle's coming from.
Yeah. You hear about people coming out of comas, but it's not because of anything the doctors did. We just keep them alive and sometimes they wake up.
There was something in the news about keeping people really cold to prevent brain damage during surgery, but I don't think it helps fix existing damage. Not good enough. Surely I can do better on proving that I'm knowledgeable about science and medicine. Maybe stem cells? They might be able to grow new brain cells with them eventually.
Cells from the brain stem?
No, it's a kind of non-differentiated cell that helps develop into all other kinds of cells. So they're working on being able to use them to grow replacement organs instead of having to wait for donors. Heart, lungs, maybe even brains.
Interesting. Have you found a cure for transplant shock?
You mean organ rejection? I think they use immune suppression drugs.
This medical stuff is kind of gross.
Oh, Bradley!
What about longevity drugs?
We don't have any. Not ones that work, anyway. There are a bunch of scams about starving yourself or extra vitamins, but they do nothing.
Interesting. Our early trials suggest lifespan enhancement of up to 30 years without the failings of extreme age, although it's soon to tell. You cured old age? Are you sure we're the ones from the future? We're not. You're not from my future. You're from a different future and a different past. You're behind us in space travel, ahead of us in electronics, and each of our continuums has medical technology that the other doesn't. Knowledge, which you take for granted, could be a matter of life and death here, or vice versa. Our greatest discoveries will likely be accidental. Now, let's talk about your method of traveling between universes.
We have no idea how we did that, by the way.
We walked through the forest, and here we are!
Yeah.
Don't know anything about it. It just happened. Where were you before you came here? We went to the dressage restaurant, then to the Galleria Cinema at the mall. But none of that exists here, so why does it matter? Because I'd like to determine exactly where the wormhole you came through is. Now, have you been to this mall before? Sure, plenty of times.
Me too.
Where did you go after leaving it? We drove around for a while. It was dark and raining. When did it start raining? Must have been during the movie. Thunder? Lightning? No. Did you notice anything at all out of the ordinary at any point during your drive? How could we? It was dark. A change in the road or the weather? A momentary lull in the rain? Unfortunately, I'm not a gravitic specialist. We didn't see anything.
We saw the house.
House? This house?
Maybe it was dark and I was looking out the window, and then for a moment I thought I saw something in the woods, like distant lights. Then the car broke down. Bradley pinches his lips together, saying nothing.
About how far away was that?
I don't know, less than a mile. Once we started walking, I saw the lights again, and we followed them to the house.
Did you notice anything odd when you were walking here?
Other than Bradley clinging to my hand for dear life? Oh, ouch.
You know why I was...
I reach out and squeeze his hand to reassure him that I'm only teasing.
Yes, other than that. There weren't any signs of anything strange while we were walking to the house, and I was looking for them then. Spotting the house was what made the difference. There was never a house there before. If there's a wormhole, it has to have been back on the road. Which means that your car should be present within this reality, and it may mark your entry position. Once matters here are concluded, we should investigate. Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll end this.
That was a pretty fun scene, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was probably the most different scene we've experienced so far. So
yeah, of course, with being on Linds's route, we're probably going to see more of him, like, sort of trying to figure out the thing about the wormhole. At least we probably won't see much about what he's doing.
The truly unfortunate thing about doing Linds's route is that his voice is the hardest one for me to do.
Yeah.
And I consistently, just because of the way it is, the lilt of it, I consistently start to fall into Nathaniel's, when I'm doing Nathaniel's.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, but just in general, it's the way that I try to make his voice is very difficult on my throat, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, we're not voice actors, but, we're trying to be as entertaining as possible. So,
yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye guys!